This is the further classification of our machine learning algorithm, like supervised machine learning, unsupervised machine learning, and enforcement learning. So classification of supervised learning, that is classification and regression. These are the two main types of algorithm through which we can achieve the supervised learning. So classification algorithm. So here is the lot of algorithms for navy bias and decision tree, support vector machine, random forest, and k nearest neighbors. So these are some algorithms which belongs to classification type of algorithms. And here the regression types algorithm, like linear regression, support vector regression, neural network regression, decision tree, and this is the Losho regression, Riz regression. So these are the regression types of algorithm. So these algorithm is suitable for the different kind of problems. Okay, so once you identified the problems, and you can better understand which algorithm is best suitable for our problem, so we can opt these algorithms, and through these algorithms we can prepare a model, and we can prepare our model and get the desired output. Okay, then clustering. Okay, clustering is a type of unsupervised machine learning algorithms, and there is a lot of clustering algorithm, like k-mean clustering, main shift clustering, and agglomerative clustering, and some Gaussian mixtures. Okay, and in case of reinforcement learning, here is some learning algorithm, like q learning, r learning, and td learning algorithms. So here is the lot of algorithms which is helpful for our machine learning. Okay, so here we can concentrate about the clustering. What is clustering actually? So clustering is useful for unsupervised machine learning. So clustering is an category. So what is cluster actually? Means cluster means how we can segregate the problems. Okay, so how we can collect the similar type of objects and form a group, that is called clustering. Okay, and how we can analysis the cluster, that is the main factor. How we can identify this one. Okay, so here is an example. Suppose that we have an the set of objects, like x1 to xn, and here is lot of objects, but as per their characteristics we can form a cluster, we can form a group. Okay, so here you just see the c1 cluster, and c1 cluster is formed a group where x2, x3, and x5 objects is belongs. Okay, so how we can decide these objects is belong to the cluster c1? Okay, so suppose we take an example. We have one bucket, and there is a lot of balls in the bucket. Okay, some plastic balls, some balls of size table tennis ball is also in the bucket, and some plastic balls, some cricket balls, and all types of balls in the bucket. Okay, so all the balls have some characteristics like color, their hardness, their play means specific game types and all. So on the basis of their characteristics, we can segregate that balls. Means we can find out the similarity and dissimilarity between the balls, and as per their characteristics we can form a group. Okay, so hope you understand. So that's why here x2, x3 and x5, they are quite similar, uh, so that they can form a group, and similarly x1 and x4 and x7 form a group. And here the cluster third is x6, x9, x1. These objects is collected into a single group. Okay, so hope you understand what is clustering. Okay, now the main thing is that how we can say that three cluster is enough. Means how many cluster we can identify. So that is totally depends on the k-mean clustering algorithm. So on the basis of that k-mean, we can predict or how many cluster is required. Okay, so we concentrate here only the clusters and how we can form the group actually. Okay, so the two important components of cluster analysis. So here is the two important components. One is the similarity distance measure between two data samples. Means we can find the similarity and dissimilarity. Means the distance between the objects. So on the basis of characteristics, we can say that these two objects are similar, or the distance between these two objects is less. And based on dissimilarity, so we can compute the similarity and dissimilarity. Suppose that C1 is a cluster and it form a group. So there is some objects. Okay, so it is necessary that these objects have some common characteristics. Okay, and here some second clusters, and is also some objects is here. So it is quite similar characteristics within the elements, but it is necessary that when we compare the characteristics of these two objects, the one object is belong to the cluster set 1 and another object is belong to cluster set 2. So it is necessary that the maximum distance is required. Means dissimilarity is important, how dissimilar they are. Okay, so it is we can say the better clusters. Okay, so here we can concentrate the distance of similarity and dissimilarity between the objects. Okay, and by using the clustering algorithm, so there is a lot of clustering algorithm which we can simply go through in the previous slide. Okay, so aspects of clustering. What are the clusterings actually? So k-mean clustering, hierarchical clustering, and a mixture of Gaussians. Okay, and through the dissimilarity or the dissimilarity at the similarity matrix, we can compute the clusters. Okay, so here is the method. One is the Euclidean distance, Minkowski distance, and cosine distance. Through these algorithms, we can compute the similarity and dissimilarity distances. Okay, so how we can compute. Okay, how when we can say this is the better clusters. and the quality of clusters, how we can identify the quality of clusters. Okay, so on the basis of these distance between the cluster and distance between the objects. Okay, when we talk about the distance